Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Scrubbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. And I'm using my new tablet to do a reading. I know it's not the greatest camera angle. I just don't have all the little bells and whistles. This is a very low-tech kind of place. But of course, those of you who know tech probably know that right away, right off the top. Hopefully you're here for the information and not the technology. So I was thinking about the arrest of Ghislaine Maxwell. I did a reading on it using the Illuminated Oracle deck. It was very, very interesting reading. So I just, I've had this question on my mind for a little while now, and I haven't done a lot of political stuff, and I haven't really been following the news per se about this individual, but every time I heard his name being mentioned and sort of not really paying attention to what was happening, but just sort of, in the periphery, knowing that he was, fixing all these things for Trump, I thought to myself, what's up with Barr? What's up with Barr? What's up with Barr? And so let's ask that question. What's up with Barr and what's ahead for Barr? All right. Obviously, well, let's see what those cards reveal. And there's something on my mind or a connection that I'd like to look at, but it's very possible that the connection will come up in the reading, because that's kind of how it works anyway. It's like you don't even have to think to ask the next question because the answer gets answered. But let's see what comes up. What's up with Barr? Oh, okay. Just see. Yep, these are all upside down. So what's going on with Barr? He's having a tower moment. He's having a tower moment. Everything is coming down. Everything is coming down. And what's interesting about this card is, in this card we have two pyramids. One on the bottom that, seems the size that it is, and the one on the top that seems much bigger. Except that the part that's burning is the part that makes the top pyramid bigger than the bottom pyramid. And what this sounds like to me is this is the downfall of government, but not in the sense that we're going into anarchy and chaos. This is the part of government that was developed, and it's as if it got too top heavy. Government got too top heavy. Government needed a cleaning out, and the cleaning out had more to do with not the government per se, because I think the government and the structures of the government and the way that it's set up is actually a good idea. But the funding got all messed up and everything. So it's like that which wasn't for the best interest of the people, all that stuff up top that's coming tumbling down is come tumbling down, and the stuff that's left that's going to be helpful remains. And that's that whole top of the pyramid there coming tumbling down is the BS, quite frankly. So that was my first thought looking at that card. But as it pertains to Barr, this whole world is coming down. So let's see the challenge. Okay, so we have the Three of Cups here. The Three of Cups, not so much in this deck, but in other decks, you see it as the three women holding their cups up and celebrating. So what's the challenge here is the friends that he has, right? And the people that he has made some sort of covenant with. I always see cups as symbolic of a covenant, right? So he's made a covenant with these other sort of people, I think, that have a lot to gain by the shenanigans that he does, and a lot to lose if Americans wake up or things start to get uncovered, right? So there's some very, would say, influential friends that he has that is a challenge to this, because as it comes down, I think he's trying to keep it from coming down because of this pact with friends. And, I don't know. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. Let's see what's underneath it all. Okay, we have the Hierophant here. And we have a man lifting the lid. So this is the government lifting the lid off the corruption. That's what this is. That's what's at the root of this. That's why his world is coming tumbling down. Let's see what's in the past. Okay, we have the Knight of Swords. This was him sort of fording a path, creating chaos. Kind of like a man on a mission, not really caring, but for his own vision, his own viewpoint, whatever that might have been, as he sort of forged forward, maybe thinking that he was doing the right thing, but ultimately not. Ultimately not. All right, what's in the sky? Okay, we have the Three of Swords here. This is heartbreak. And what's interesting is this is it's a sword, right? So here we have three again. Well, that's interesting, right? So the breaking up of the three. All right, let's see what's coming in the immediate future. Okay, the Five of Wands. This is argument amongst themselves. How it's seen from the outside. The Six of Cups. Six of Cups is a cup of nostalgia. A card of nostalgia. So I feel like people are seeing the past coming up. Domestic situation. We have the Queen of Coins. This is Ghislaine Maxwell. She is a Capricorn. And she is naturally a queen in a way. She was in charge. She was at the head of something. And it was all about the money. And then it was also about the money, and then the lower, like, five senses, sensuality. But, this is like prostitution, right? Or this is, this has to do with child abuse, human trafficking, all of that stuff. A negative expression of the Queen of Coins could be somebody like that, somebody who sells their soul for money. Anybody who's hurting somebody and doing that kind of stuff is selling their soul one way or another, and it's for, I guess, money, or maybe power, or whatever it is. But yeah, there's definitely Ghislaine Maxwell is here, and I feel connections to her father, connections to Epstein, connections to Barr's dad. He was the head of the school in New York that hired Epstein. And so he sort of introduced Epstein into that whole sort of level of money that people had. So somehow, and he gave him the job. Even though he didn't have the credentials. And then he ended up losing that job as dean of that school because he did that. So there's something very, very deep and dark about Barr's connection with Epstein. And this was the question I was going to ask. And so, again, the cards brought it out. There was some sort of, perhaps it was these rich people in this school that his father was a member. Maybe it was his father and two other people who kept a secret. Who kept some kind of secret, and that secret revolved around Epstein and the kind of work that, and the kind of shenanigans and criminality that Epstein did. Because Barr visited Epstein in jail, or so I guess it's a rumor, but I would bet it's true. And then, like, a day or two later, Epstein was dead. So, I don't know. All right, let's see. Hopes and fears. The Ace of Swords. Um, what's up with Barr? He fears the law. He fears the law. He fears the sword of truth and justice coming down. But that being said, he'd also hope to wield it himself, because as long as he wields it, he's not going to cut himself. But if somebody else wields it, the truth is going to come out. Let's see what's the outcome. And we have another three, the Three of Wands. And in this deck, the Three of Wands, they sort of look like nunchucks, but three nunchucks. It's like he's creating a propeller, or he's pulling, let's see. It's like he's pulling a rope and pulling these three wands together somehow. It's like a forcible pulling of the wands. It's really an interesting card for this. It's very unlike any other Three of Wands card I've ever seen. I feel like things are getting tied together. Things are all getting tied together here. It's as if these wands are being made into this rope and being tied together. So I feel like the outcome of this is that these connections that were made way back when are going to be seen. We're going to know. We're going to know what's going on. We're going to... all right, let's see if we can pull a major arcana. We have the Five of Swords. So this is usually a card associated with like unfair tactics, and of course we know that Barr does that. So this is not an unusual card to get with him. But in this particular deck, he's sort of standing on the swords. So he's not on solid ground here. He has to keep trying to balance, and he's balancing on two swords on his feet, and then he's got all these swords in his hands. So if he falls, he's going to get cut up pretty bad. And it was oh my goodness, what's his name? Cash Peters. He saw he did his fate in 5 minutes, as he does. Really very good and very funny. I really enjoy him. He saw him like going into this thing where he gets all cut up, right? And that's sort of the vision here, that he's losing his balance, and he's going into free fall, which is exactly what this card talks about, right? You know, free fall. And he is going to be injured. And we have the Queen of Cups. This says to me that there's going to be healing to the feminine. Healing to the feminine. The Two of Coins. There's an as you sow, so shall you reap kind of energy to this card, right? And so, because we have the infinity symbol as this drowning man actually is holding up. So this is a drowning man holding up, and as you sow, so shall you reap, with the money. So it's a lesson. It's a lesson. He's learning a very, very harsh lesson in this lifetime about, that he is not above consequence. He is not above consequence. And so underneath it all is the King of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Sun. Illumination. I think that his father, I think he's doing this in part for his father. Maybe his father's good name, or or maybe just, money, whatever. If you go down, if if this happens and we go down, you go down too. That whole thing that they do when they're criminals. Well, I mean, most, you go down with the ship, right? The ship, oh fools. But I feel like this has something to do with his father. At least the Epstein stuff. Yeah, the most recent stuff that's going on, the Epstein stuff, I think, goes all the way back to his father, and some agreement that his father had with Epstein around children. So that's kind of what this looks like to me. All right. So, this is for entertainment purposes only. This is as good a guess as any. But I feel like because the lid is coming off of it, there's that expression about there is no honor among thieves. That's what this feels like to me. There's no honor among thieves. He's just one of a group of people who made some sort of pact, and it is being uncovered now. Now, what exactly that means, I think Epstein is part of it. He may not be the whole story. It may not be Barr's father. It could just be very, very powerful, and I would say powerful Republicans. In this case, not that there weren't powerful Democrats involved with Epstein as well, but I think it's the Republican side that's trying to hide something, because Barr wouldn't work for the Democrats. He just wouldn't. He's like a Republican through and through. So that's what it looks like, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Usually I don't like doing the yucky stuff, but it actually wasn't bad. I didn't feel too much negative energy around it, and I think that's because I've done other readings with this kind of subject matter, and it always feels like you kind of have to take a shower afterwards. But I don't feel that this time, and I think the reason for that is because things are getting uncovered. Before, when you would sort of go into that energy, you had to sort of like dive into it so you could get into it, and then you'd come out and you'd be like, but now as it gets uncovered, it's becoming more and more obvious. I think it's a little easier energy to read, and that's what makes it easier. So okay, I will come back. I promise I would do Ghislaine Maxwell. I have to do that on my computer though, so I think I will do that. I think I'll work on that for a little bit, and hopefully I can get that out to you today as well. I have her a chart. We actually have an accurate birth time, so it's gonna be very interesting. Take a look at that together. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.